After a long shift at a popular restaurant, it was time to go home. Since I got off at 1 a.m., my mom insisted on picking me up. Before we left the parking lot, we prayed that God would keep us safe on the drive home. Then we left. We were discussing my shift when all of a sudden there were glowing eyes in the middle of the road. It was a deer, so we didn't want to hit it. However, instead of the deer walking away, it continued to walk right into the passenger side rear window. After I slightly screamed at the thud, he ran away. All I know is that if we had gone any faster that night, it could have been worse. God kept us safe. This was back in the summer of 1969 or 1970. I was staying at my aunt and uncle's house for 2 weeks. My grandmother was living with them at the time. They lived out in the country and were in the process of building a new house. Their daughter and her husband were in the garden picking vegetables, while my uncle was at work for the evening. My aunt was cooking dinner that evening, and she, my grandmother, myself, and the dogs were sitting in the living room. There were dark clouds gathering, and all of a sudden we heard this loud boom and crackling sound. The lightning had struck the house, and smoke started pouring out of the kitchen from behind the stove. My aunt hollered at us to get out of the house and get the dogs out quickly. I called to the dogs, and they followed me out. I helped my grandmother get out of the front door and helped her into the car. I opened up the back car door and got the dogs into the back seat. My grandmother started hollering about her purse. She said, my purse, I left it in my room." My aunt said, "Don't worry, I'll have Tommy get it." She kept hollering, "I need my purse." We drove up to the new house, and the fire department had been called. Tommy ran into the house to get my grandmother's purse. However, he ended up passing out from all the smoke after getting it. I was worried about Tommy, so that's when I began to pray. A few moments later, a fireman had Tommy outside the house, and my grandmother had her purse. We were all thankful that everyone was okay. God kept us safe. I was asked to watch another family's house while they were out of town for the week. I was to also take care of their pets, which included 2 bunnies, 2 dogs, a mixed hound and a Shih Tzu, a parakeet, and a parrot. The family thought it would be a nicest vacation for me as I was recovering from a car accident. Anyway, one night after putting in all the animals to bed, I went to lay down. About 30 minutes after turning off the television, I heard something that sounded like someone was walking in the attic. It wasn't only me that heard it. The dogs also began to move somewhat as well. The hound started to low growl while the Shih Tzu whimpered. I didn't want to let them out. However, I decided to use this opportunity to call my sister, as she lived nearby. When I opened the back door, the Shih Tzu left straight for the barn in the backyard, while the hound used the bathroom and then came back. I called my sister and brother-in-law, who ultimately said it was probably just the wind. Once I finally got the dogs in, I made sure that all the doors were locked. When I heard the footsteps again, after laying down, I prayed, then did my best to go to sleep. I never heard the noise after that. God kept the house peaceful during the rest of the time I was there.